Define biological diversity or biodiversity as the variability among living organisms in the terrestrial, marine, and other aquatic resources of the earth. The ecological aspects of diversity include diversity within species and between species and ecosystems. There are three various levels of diversity. First, species diversity. Second, genetic diversity. Third, ecosystem diversity. These are the highlights of the following various levels of diversity. So when we talk genetic diversity, it talks about high and low genetic diversity within population. And when species diversity, it talks about high and low number of species. And last, ecosystem diversity talks about the narrow and wide distribution of ecosystem. So when we say biodiversity, it talks about the different kinds of living things and mga living organisms na nagpuyo sa nagkalain-lain ng mga part sa earth, like sa mga land, sa water, o sa mga air surface. Ug na siya tulo ka various levels of diversity, which are the genetic, species, and ecosystem diversity. So, para mas masabtan nato, ato ning isa-isaho nag-explain and para ato dyan ni siyang masabtan. To understand well, I will explain it to you the following various levels of diversity one by one. So first is the species diversity. Is the heterogeneity of living species in a given region or habitat. A species is a group of organisms or similar individuals that are capable of interbreeding. They are grouped based on the similar characteristics of their family. A habitat, on the other hand, is the place where the different species live. Different habitats include tropical rainforest, temperate forest, grassland or savanna, desert, aquatic, polar ice or tundra, and tide pools. A current estimate of the number of species of the world varies from 5 million to nearly 100 million. There are 1.7 million that have been identified to date. A complete list of species is difficult to obtain, as many organisms such as lower plants, invertebrates, and microorganisms such as fungi, protozoans, bacteria, and viruses have not yet been identified. So, species diversity is heterogeneity. So, when we say heterogeneity, there are species live in the same place and in the same region, but there are different types of species. Dili sila same tanan, lain-lain sila og kinds and types. So when we say species, it is also an organism nga sila lang nga nagpuyo ani nga place, but ko bahalag sila lang, they have the ability also to spread, to interbreed, para mas kanang bahalag sila lang pero napo sila kakayahan nga managhan nga sila lang. And also, we can notice some species nga pinaagi sa ilang physical, silang appearance nga kani is mo ni siya nga organism, kani siya is fungi, kani siya is bacteria. So by that maka-recognize ta kung unsa ni sila nga klase because of their abilities, their appearance, and their physical. So this is the place where they live and they exist. Sa tropical rainforest, temperate forest, grassland or savanna, sa desierto, sa aquatic or polar ice or tundra, and also sa tide pool. So currently, we have the estimated number of species, which is about 5 million to 100 million. So there are 1.7 million nga ilahang na-discover or na-identified. So up to date din siya. So ang complete list of the species is difficult to obtain. So nagi mga organisms, mga microorganisms, mga gagmay nga mga species nga wala pa gyud na identified. like sa mga lower plants, invertebrates, microorganisms such as fungi, protozoans, bacteria, viruses, mo na sila ang mga wala pa karon na na-identify. Genetic diversity describes the variety in the number of genetic types as well as the chromosomes present in different species in a given region. It's the differences in the genetic makeup between species and the variety within a single species. The extent of variation among species increases as their habitat increases in size. The genetic variation increases through chromosomes mutation among individuals that are sexually active, spreading in the population by genetic recombination of materials during cell division after sexual reproduction. The degree of diversity in the level of the genes is crucial because it represents the material for evolution and adaptation. When there is more diversity among the species in a population, there is a greater chance among individuals to adapt to the changes in the environment. Lesser diversity will lead to uniformity of species, which will have a smaller chance to adapt to the changing environment. If the environment changes frequently, diverse genes will have an advantage at different times or places. The gene is elemental in natural selection and the evolution of species. Genetic diversity helps in the evolution of new species, for it is useful in adapting to changes in different environmental conditions and essential for agricultural productivity and development. So, genetic diversity describes the different kinds of genes, like sa mga lalahi na species in a particular region. So, by their physical appearance, mahibalaan na to kung sa klase siya nga klase nga species. Like sa mga humans, di ba? So, maila na to kung kani sila is human, animals, or plants, or unsa ba siya, mga bacteria ba or mga fungi. So, example sa humans. So, while the population of humans being spread, nagkakuan po ang mga genes nila. Like, pariyaan ng interconnected, sexually, active sila sa lain nga mga natives, lain nga mga lahi bitaw. So, diba, while kung example American and Filipino, di ba malahi ang genes, malahi ang ilang outcome. Di na siya pure-blooded Filipino, but half na siya, half American and half Filipino. So, nga na po the resulta sa mga other species when they are sexually active sa other genes or mga other chromosomes. Ecosystem diversity is a type of biodiversity that refers to the variation in the ecosystem in a region. Ecosystem is defined as a biological community that includes all living things such as animals, plants, and microorganisms such as fungi and bacteria, interacting in a certain area or region with non-living things such as weather, climate, temperature, soil, air, sun, atmosphere, among others. A vast range of land and water environments have been classified into different ecosystems. Habitats include terrestrial, coniferous forests, tropical rainforest, savanna, desert, tundra, and deciduous forest. And aquatic, such as salt water, such as the ocean, and fresh water, such as lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, and etc. The world's richest habitat is the tropical rainforest. It only consists of 7% of the world's surface. However, these areas contains 50 to 90% of all plant and animals species. So when we say ecosystem diversity, it talks about the different kinds of living things in a particular region. So, I mean, mga namuyo nga mga different kinds of living things in a particular region or place. So, ang pinaka main point ra gyud ani ecosystem diversity is kana bitong Kanang iyang pasabot is a place where different kinds of living things is kuna bitawng namuyo is live. So pareha nang mag-usa ang sa earth or sa land, mag-usa ang humans, animals, plants, 'di ba? So, generally speaking, ecosystem is, ang iya lang ani is where humans, animals, plants, microorganisms, or unsa pa na diya mga small species is kanang bitawng nag-usa lang og puyo in a place nga kaya lang po nilang mabuhi pareha sa mga tropical seasons. Kay di ba as we all know nga sa mga mabugnaw kayo nga mga lugar is pili lang ang kaya dito nga mabuhi. Pareha na mga small species lang ng mga bacteria o unsa pa na diha. So example, pareha sa bukid, 'di ba? Na human, na animal, na
Good day, everyone. So, the Philippines has a rich and diverse forest cover, playing a vital role in the country's ecosystem and the well-being of its people. However, this forest cover has been facing significant challenges due to various factors including deforestation and pollution. So, deforestation has been a major issue in the Philippines, driven by factors such as logging, agriculture, and urbanization. So, the clearing of forests for timber, farmland, and infrastructure development has led to a significant decline in forest cover over the years. So, this loss of forest has severe consequences for biodiversity. So, siya is nag-destroy siya sa habitats and disrupts the ecosystem. It also contributes to climate change by reducing the amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by trees. So, ang ikaduha is ang pollution. Ang pollution further exacerbates the problem. The clearing of forests often leads to increased pollution as agriculture activities release fertilizers and animal waste. And industrial plants emit harmful gases and chemicals. So, these pollutants contaminate water sources, soil, and the atmosphere, harming both human health and the environment. The consequences of deforestation and pollution are far-reaching. The loss of forest cover has a negative impact on biodiversity, leading to habitat loss and species extinction. It also contributes to climate change, exacerbates soil erosion, and reduces water quality. So these factors have a significant impact on the livelihoods of communities that depend on forests for their resources and well-being. So the Philippine government and various organizations are working to address these challenges through reforestation efforts and sustainable forest management practices and pollution control measures. However, tracking these issues requires a multifaceted approach involving government policies, community participation, and responsible practices across all sectors. Biodiversity also has severe and far-reaching impacts on the planet and humanity. Ang primero is ang ecosystem collapse. So, pag ecosystem collapse, the loss of species disrupts the delicate balance of ecosystems. This can lead to cascading effects where the disappearance of one species triggers the decline of others, ultimately causing entire ecosystems to collapse. Second is the loss of resources. Biodiversity provides us with essential resources like food, medicine, clean water, and raw materials. As species disappear, we lost access to these vital resources, impacting our health, economy, and well-being. Third is climate change. Climate change, biodiversity plays a crucial role in regulating the climate. Forests absorb carbon dioxide, while healthy ecosystems help mitigate the effects of climate change. Biodiversity loss weakens these natural defenses, making climate change even more severe. Economic impacts. Biodiversity loss has significant economic consequences. The decline of resources, disruption of ecosystems, and increased vulnerability to natural disasters impact industries like agriculture, tourism, and pharmaceuticals. Now, let's talk about human health. Biodiversity loss affects human health in various ways. The loss of medical plants reduces our access to natural remedies. Ecosystem disruption can lead to the emergence of new diseases and the spread of existing ones. So the current rate of biodiversity loss is alarming, and it's essential to take immediate action to protect and restore our planet's biodiversity. This includes conservation efforts, sustainable practices, and addressing the root causes of biodiversity loss such as habitat destruction and climate change.
Good day, sir. I am Wenelin Cabusas, the next reporter, and this is a continuation. So, the main reason why the environment is getting worse is that there are too many people on this earth, and of course, we humans need to use the earth's resources like water, land, and animals to survive. But when there are too many of us, we use up these resources faster than they can be replaced. And of course, this leads to pollution, deforestation, and the loss of animals and plants. So, we have to take care of our planet and find ways to use the Earth's resources wisely to protect it for future generations. So, when we lose plants and animals, it hurts the Earth in many ways. It makes climate change worse, allows pests and diseases to spread more easily, and can even harm the air and water we need to survive. Farming and mining can also cause problems if we're not careful because they can pollute the environment with chemicals. So that picture in the slide is the power generation accounts for about 1/4 of the total emission of carbon dioxide, and it is the main culprit in global warming. So a big group of scientists and experts met in India and said that keeping animals, plants, and nature healthy is super important for keeping people healthy too. They said that protecting the environment means protecting ourselves. And that would be all. Thank you.
City. So, first is before the Industrial Revolution, ecology was characterized by stability within each habitat. Ecosystem had been assembled by long-term evolutionary processes where predators and free collaborators and competitors from microbes for mammals are extended with a complex interconnect with. And next is change in biodiversity, the mix of plants, animals, and microscopic organisms living within its habitat occurred but was living within its I was largely driven by long-term processes happening over centuries of millennia. So, kuan siya kanang ang climate change is, for example, pag mimina sa kahoy, di ba gipangputol man ang mga kahoy. So, kay gipangputol man ang mga kahoy, so makakos siya sa tuwa og makadaot tungod sa daot kay sa atong kalikasan kay mao manay kay kuan manggod kanang ang kahoy manggod mo ay gapugong sa ato ang kalikasan kay if ang kahoy putlon so wala na makapugong sa baha or sa landslide. So kay gipang putol man ang kahoy, so mao na hinungdan nganong magbaha ta o maglandslide. Kay gipang putol man ang kahoy, so ang mga-cause ato is baha o landslide. So ang ubang mga tawo gapuyo, like for example ang mga tawo gapuyo sa kuan sa na mga bundok, diba, sa bukid-bukid. So kuan yun siya pag maglandslide, so makuan ang katumbalay nga nakuan, so maapil kito siya kay tungod kay giputol man ang mga kahoy nga mao man taw tinagpugong sa to ang kanang dili makakuan og trahedya ba. Next is human activity, just as burning fossil fuels and industrialized farming have combined to dramatically impact the planet's biomes and ecosystems. Climate change, deforestation, and pollution have destroyed or damaged habitats, changed with specific life and climate-nated species at a speed and scale comparable to major extinction events of the past. So, for example, sa human activity, so we have here according to my search, humans have affected biodiversity through a variety of activities including deforestation, habitat destruction, and urbanization, which reduces space and resources available for organism, agricultural activities that remove native species from land to make room for stock and crops for human consumption. So mao to siya. So next is what are the threats of biodiversity? So threats to biodiversity include the burning of fossil fuels and clearing forests and other wildlands for industrialized agriculture. More direct human intervention such as poaching and hunting can also have serious effect. So unsa daya ang mga kuan sa threats of the biodiversity? So first, for example, pagputol sa mga kahoy. So moonay kuan what are the threats of the biodiversity. Next is pagsunog sa mga fuel, diba? Then patakaw og labay sa mga basura ug uban pa. So maunay maka-affect sa ato ang diri sa tuang kalibutan kung unsay mga binuhatan sa tawo. So also maka-apekto pod ang more direct human intervention such as a poaching and hunting can also have a serious effect. So next is a climate change threats to biodiversity. So ang climate change threat to the biodiversity is, for example, sa pamagitan ng mga kanilang kakayahang makayanan ang init, malamig o tuyo o tuyo or basa na mga kung hindi direkto sa pamagitan ng pagbabago sa pagkaroon ng pagkain. So next is habitat loss. So ang habitat loss, industrialized farming methods have seen the cultivation of single crops known as monoculture and rearing of livestock on a massive scale. This has been a skill is justified as essential to feeding the expanding human population and delivering more affordable and safe food supplies. So ang habitat loss kay for example, ilangan jud sa ato kultura nga magtanom taog mais or humay. So namagoy uban ay humay og uban pa para kung magtanom ta og mais or humay makasupply ta sa ato ang sa ato ang lugar kay tungod kay mao may kinahanglan nato sa pang-adlaw-adlaw. So sa pagkain kung dili ta sa pagkaon nato may ato ang adlaw-adlaw. So kung dili ta magtanom, so wala po tay ma-harvest or ma-supply sa ato ang sa atong tibok Pilipinas. So kay ang pagsasaka manggod na ikuan sa ato ang kanang pamaagi ba nga para makasaka ta or kuan manggod yan ang pagtatanim kasi kuan siya kanang kilala sa tuwa na bilang monarkiya ba. Last is threats to marine biodiversity. So marine ecosystem are vulnerable to the effects of climate change, pollution, and thus on land. Climate change as causing the ocean to warm and carbon dioxide result in sa water, increasing its acidity. So for example, so ang klima ug ang pollution mao ni ang nakaguba sa ato ang palibot tungod kay nag-change climate naman ta karon. So for example, init tapos mukalit lang siya ulan, so makakos na siya og sakit sa ato like sipon ubo subaw, ubo o lanat. Mao na siya. So, sa pollution po, itungod sa kadagang sakyanan, na siya, murag, ang yang makuan ba, kay dahog, like, for example, ang bosa sa sakyanan, itom kayo. So, kuhan siya tungod kay hugaw kayo. So, makakos, bigyapon siya sakit sa tuan. Diba? So, that's all my report. Thank you so much.